Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and we are here today doing the same thing we've been doing ever since we started the show, trying to make sense of a sensitive situation about the plight of veterans in the USA and the USA with the plight of veterans. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and what we're going to be talking about today is whether veterans votes matter. Do veteran votes matter? We got to make it matter. We got to take on this system, the people that's in this system, especially in the state of Georgia right now. We are calling upon veterans throughout the state. There were 700,000 veterans in the state of Georgia. Right now, we got politicians in this state, and we're going to say in the United States, that's really trying to do away with the democracy and want to bring in a autocratic form of government. Now, if we can't trust people under this system, what make us think we're gonna be able to trust them up under another system where they don't have any check and balances like due process, freedom of speech, freedoms, the freedoms that we have that we serve for in the military to keep for everybody is in danger, especially here in my home state of Georgia. We got politicians that have gone through the process, not of just gerrymandering to weaken the votes of people of color, but also giving themselves the power to say that the election was fraudulent in some kind of way. Then they just throw out the election and appoint who they deem fit to serve me. That's a big change, veterans. That's a big change from what we stood up and pledged allegiance for. Now, and we want to know, is that something that you want? Is it something that you want? If that's what you want, then you can forget about changing the Atlanta VA. You can forget about changing these other VAs across the country, because you got to look into what some of these people that want to change the government are saying. They looking at VA benefits as an entitlement. In other words, they got a spirit they're gonna reform entitlements, meaning they're gonna take away benefits, benefits like Social Security and other benefits that you have paid into or that you have served for. And we need to really look at this coming election as one of the most important elections in the history of these United States, because these people are openly now challenging our democracy, putting some people above the law. What they do, they can explain it in a way that it doesn't violate the law, even though it does violate the law. If me or you did it, it would be a violation of the law, and you would be locked up and prosecuted and sent to prison to pay for your crime. Well, then now they a cry in this country right this minute for somebody to overlook violations of the laws of these United States because of their status. Their status. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But let me say, just going away from that for a minute to get. This morning, I was with Frontline Ministry, Vet 22, out in Tucker, Georgia. They was out doing a groundbreaking for another transitional house for veterans that's facing suicide. Every day right now in this country, 22 veterans are committing suicide. One actually went out to the Atlanta VA and committed suicide at the VA. Why are these veterans committing suicide at this alarming rate? Well, there are many reasons. There's some of them, most of them have encountered issues in the military that made transition back into the community impossible for them. And there is the outreach that's being provided by VA and the Department of Defense is obviously not working, and they are not consulting the families, the people that are dealing with the suicides before they happen. These are their loved ones coming out of the military back into their homes and back into the community with not the resources to help them make the transition, and they're killing themselves. So Frontline ministry, I just want to take my hat off to the guys that's out there and all the people that are working with Frontline Ministries. Thank you for caring about veterans and their families. Now we got to take that caring to the poll this year, because there are forces in our country, even in our governments, on every level, not just the federal level, but the state level, the county level, and the city level, that don't include veterans in the expenditures of our tax dollars. On these levels, they don't include us. I'm gonna give you, for example, right now, my chapter, and I'm proud of the Sons of Atlanta task force, have gotten the Sons of Atlanta task force, and you see it on the screen. You can go there and look at the website. Have gotten it right now where we're waiting on the National Park Service approval. Once the National Park Service approve our plan and design, we'll be start breaking ground in Atlanta Historic Piedmont Park to build a memorial to veterans who served in the U.S. military during the Vietnam War and were killed. That was from Fulton County, 9 cities in Fulton County, including Atlanta, Georgia. And for the first time in the history of the Vietnam era, we are doing a memorial that specifically take those 58,000 names off the wall in D.C. and put them in their hometown, so that their sacrifice will be appreciated and understood and never forgotten. And we are also doing something more than just building a memorial in Piedmont Park. We are going into community centers and libraries in this county, educating our community about veterans benefits and the services they render and why we render the service we do in the U.S. military. Less than 1% of the population in this country ever served in the U.S. military. And the U.S. military is way more than just a war machine. Yeah, it is a war machine, one of the best war machines on planet Earth today. But it's also the first responders to natural disasters around the world. Anywhere you see a natural gas, storms and hurricanes and volcanoes erupting and destroying large communities, the U.S. military is there. The Air Force and the Navy, they just go in there and rescue people and help rebuild communities. So we want people to understand the full breadth of military service and the sacrifices that this 1% of our population have to make for the rest of us. And now that we have served and watched this democracy grow, where it is a multicultural, where we have a multicultural nation, we see forces that's trying to separate the people in a way that would destroy this democracy, and we can't let that happen. We are going to have a press conference on Wednesday, August the 17th, at our field office at 3707 Main Street in College Park, Georgia, in the E Club Atlanta complex. We in this press conference, there will be people from MBEX and American Legion and DAV, and of course Vietnam Veterans of America, calling upon these veterans, all veterans in the state of Georgia, to vote this coming November for our democracy. You know, it might mean that we are all voting for Democrats. You know, because right now the Republican Party has some issues with democracy. We have some issues with democracy, and those issues with democracy must be addressed at the poll by votes. We need to vote these people out of existence in our governments. I'm talking about on the city level, we're talking about on the county level, and we're talking about, come on up here, Tracy. I want you up here. Now, this is one of them veterans that we're going to talk about, because, come on, brother. Thank you for your service, and I'm going to talk about you in a minute, because I read your record, brother. Listen, I want to salute you right now before you sit down. You know, you rendered a service to this nation that we need to talk about. But anyway, right now we're talking about, do veterans vote matter? You know, Tracy, You know, we got November coming up, right?
Right.
And we got all these clowns in our government on every level that's trying to take away the democracy that we serve for. It's crazy. When you think about raising anybody above the law, that means that the law is no longer applicable to anybody. Because we're looking at our children, we're looking at the streets of in this city, where we have allowed automatic weapons, war weapons, to be handed out to 18-year-old, 20-year-old mental patients, ex-offenders, people that should have no right to have a gun in our community, and we seem to be powerless to do anything about it. We got to make our vote count for something this year. We got to change that, because listen, when I was in Vietnam, Tracy, I got wounded in Vietnam, and I was infantry, so I had to do some things I never did before. But anyway, I took a AK-47 off a kill. You know, they said I could have the weapon if I stuffed it, right? I stuffed it, got ready to come into the country. They said, you can't take that home.
You're right.
It was stuffed. But now I can go down the streets and buy a fully operative AR-15. We got to vote these clowns out of our governments. You know, we cannot just sit back anymore. I just say this here. Veterans are too laid back. And I'm going to say this too. All the news, and we got to say this now, all the news we get out of the Atlanta VA is bad news. And ain't nobody moved to change the Atlanta VA yet. We need to, I don't want to go to the VA and get jumped on. Because I told them if they do that to me, they're going to have a body out, because I'm going to make them kill me. You know, I'm not going out there and be mistreated by staff that shouldn't be working there anyway. We got to make our vote matter this year more than ever before. And I'm so glad you're here, Tracy, because been working on your case, brother. You know, and I wasn't gonna talk about it unless you was here, because we got to take advantage of your skill package in our community. You know what you demonstrated in service to this country. You've also brought some of that to Atlanta, and I know it because I met you. You were serving in the community. You was out there doing something at the time that I didn't know what to do, but I was looking for masks. I know it. Only thing I knew is we was in a war, and this enemy, I can't see him. But the only thing I knew then, if I could just cover my face and get our people to put masks on, and they was at the time, man, masks was selling like the price was up there.
Right.
They were really, they were so high. But they still is too high. But we done got to the point the government is paying for some of them. But at that time, not only the government wasn't paying for them, didn't nobody want to wear them. You know, I give somebody a mask and they throw it down, so I got attitude. I'm out there trying to raise money, Kenny. You know that for a fact, that we out there raising money to buy masks and give away free. Because we knew that this enemy that we didn't know anything about was killing our people. So we go to battle. We need the kind of experience that veterans have in the military brought to work in our community today. Because something went wrong with too many of our people that don't care about the community. You know, they're not willing to get out there. When I was talking with my sister about 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't remember ever having a key to the house when I was in high school.
The new one.
Because the door was never locked.
Right.
I asked her, I said, was our latchkey kid, or where they come from?
You open door kid.
And then she said, we didn't have no key, didn't nobody on the block lock the door. Because everybody on the block, the block was neighbors. They looked out for each other. They cared for each other. And they was not afraid to stay. Listen, if I did something on the street that was inappropriate for a kid, my mama knew it before she got home from work. I got 2 whippings. You know
you did.
Yeah, I got 2 whippings. Something is missing in our community today because our children are killing each other like dogs. And I'm saying part of it is we got too many guns in the community. You know, I mean, I'm just gonna say that now because I'm a combat soldier. You know, I'm not against the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. You know, but when they wrote that, they weren't talking about no automatic weapons. And we shouldn't have people elected to interpret that to us because the gun manufacturers are using it to sell guns. We have sold more guns during the pandemic than at any other time in the history of our country.
Everybody was inside.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong. And when I go back and look at all this stuff, because my passion is helping veterans get their benefits. I go back and look at that, and then I look at the cases that come down before me that's been before the VA. When I looked at your case, Tracy, I got mad. I just got upset. I got angry because they not only didn't give you the benefits you deserve, they lowball you with the ones they gave you. I mean, I know a lot of people don't know what I'm saying when I say lowball. You get a rating, right? You get when you get a disability, you get a rating from 0 to 100%. Now, these ratings are passed out by people at the VA. Now, I've been doing this since 1975, and I don't care what color a veteran's skin is, I'm gonna help them, right? Because when I left Atlanta, Georgia in 1967, going into the U.S. military, I was shocked because I left a completely segregated community. But when I got to Fort Benning, I was integrated the same day. Shocked the daylights out of me. I didn't know what to go blind. I didn't know what to do. But I knew I had to stand up because Mom and Daddy knew I was going in the military. Mama didn't want me there, Daddy wanted me to be a soldier. So I'm gonna do the right thing. But now I'm looking over him in the barracks with somebody I ain't never been close to like that. And you know what? They had never been close to us like that either.
Mm-hmm.
But this young generation, this Vietnam generation, integrated the U.S. military while the rest of society was still fighting for integration. I mean, that's why I wanted you did something during that time period. You was an officer in the military during that time, bro. And I want you to see, I know what I caught as a enlisted personnel, mm-hmm. But not to think about trying to be a leader. So I'm so glad you're here because I want you to kind of talk about this a little bit. And then we're going to talk about your case, but I want you to talk about your military experience because I read your record. And I just want to salute you, brother, because it was brothers like you. When we used to see a second lieutenant, we used to follow them because we didn't know whether they were going to disappear. We didn't know whether they were going to disappear or whether they were real. Because there wasn't nobody like that in the military. Mm-hmm. We got to understand where Colin Powell and y'all brothers came from. Y'all had to fight the beast right up front because, listen, you was coming out of a military they had two militaries, a colored military and a white military. White PFC could tell a black captain what to do. That was crazy. But you endured it, brother, and you gave service to this country that when I read your records, man, I had to get up and shake myself off because I couldn't understand how could you give such a great service and be mistreated in the VA claim process like that. So thank you, brother, for coming. And tell them who you are, first of all. I done just gone crazy about telling about talk to them.
I'm Tracy Singletary. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I was in Special Forces. I'm 84 years old, and I believe in cooperative ownership, and I think the only way that we're going to make it is to come together and everybody work together to build a better world.
Now, Tracy, really, brother, I had to come out of a segregated community, so you had to come out of a segregated community too. Now, I was offered the opportunity when I first got there to go to OCS, right, because of my grade point average and all that kind of stuff. But when they told me that I had to re-up for that changed my whole mind. I just wanted to come in and do the 2 years and get the benefits and come back home to my wife and child. Right, not thinking about going into Vietnam, not thinking about the structure of the military, and how I had to learn how to be disciplined in a situation where it was so much chaos going on. Not only was the war going on, which it was a very controversial war, but racism, it was trying to fight back because we had came out of slavery and we were trying to our people were trying to come out of segregation. We wanted to integrate America, but the bigger society was not integrated. But you was one of them young men that not only went into this integrated military, but you went in as a leader. How did that work, Tracy? Because as an enlisted personnel, we fought in the barracks. We had fisticuffs in the barracks. Now and then, some of them same people that I had fisticuffs with, I turned out to be really friend and close to them. So we learned how to get along. We learned how to work together. But it wasn't an easy transition, brother. So talk to us about that.
Well, I started out enlisted, and I went to jump school, went to special forces, and black NCOs would keep telling those of us that had the GPA average to apply for CS. But I was like you, I don't want to put in extra time, but I found myself re-upping anyway. So I finally decided to go. And I went to arterial CS. And like you said, it was a lot of infighting, and especially in the officer rank. The first assignment I had after OCS was at Fort Sill. And this lieutenant colonel, black lieutenant colonel, says, Secretary, says, I need you to do something for me. Now, I got your back, but you're going to have to be out there. I think you can handle it. They were going to, we had a young man, and he sent me to this battalion that had never had a black officer before.
I'm laughing because I know what you've been doing.
And so when I got there, he says, I've got a couple of NCOs going to come to you and give you some information. So when I got there, I got bombarded by senior NCOs. And one of them came and said, Sir, I need your help. So I've got a man in the battalion that they will not give another MOS to, but they want to cut his nuts out. I shouldn't have said that, I guess. but his testicles off. Mm-hmm. And I said, why? They said, because he was born with only one testicle. And every time he pick up a Projo, those things weighed anywhere from 55 to 65 pounds, it hurts. And he can't pick them up. So I went to the colonel, went to the doctor, battalion surgeon, and he said, well, he's in the Army. He needs to be, well, we can fix him so that he can lift anything he wants. And I said, that's not right. And so I filed a case with the judge advocate. Then the battalion commander got mad at me because I went over his head and filed a case. And eventually they transferred him out into a unit where he didn't have to lift anything heavy. But he was functional. He could have children and all that. Mm-hmm. It was just that he only had one. Mm-hmm. And then I left there and went back to Special Forces, where it was home again. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, we learned how to get along with each other. Mm-hmm. And everybody had everybody's back. But now that I'm out and look at it, everybody had everybody's back from 6 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the evening. Mm-hmm. And everybody had everybody's back once you went out of country on a mission. But from 5 o'clock until 6 o'clock, we were just as segregated as they were before.
But the experience, though, Tracy, and you're right. We learned to get along, and I think at a point we started learning a little bit about each other, and culturally, and we realized that they came from a family that had mama, daddy, sister, brother, just like we do, and mostly wanted the same thing. So that gave us a respect for trying to get along, trying to work together. And it wasn't just a challenge for us as veterans of color. It was a challenge for everybody, but we did it.
Right.
And as a result of our service, as a result of what you did, we got the most diverse part of society in the U.S. military today, and it's the most effective part of our society. It's more integrated than any other part of society. And you don't see these young people cutting each other up. They got each other back. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't move just out of on post. It done moved into the community where they live at. So now, my grandson, them folks getting housing allowances where they can stay off post and stuff, man.
Right.
So it's a better military, and it's diverse. We need some kind of way, as veterans and ex-military, we got to bring that conversation home. We got to bring that home because the other people are using it to destroy our democracy. They got us where we done reached a point now where it done got to be racist in the politics, just straight out racism. People coming in here talking about a white nation, and that's not gonna happen. So they need to just come on. We can all get along, cause it's not gonna happen. And they get coming up with these little militias and the Proud Boys and whoever else they got coming up because they think these colors we don't want them. See, and one of the things they need to they need to realize too, we shoot back. Our ancestors didn't shoot back. We shoot back. They got to realize now that they're dealing with a whole different demographic than their grandparents did, and they need to stop the bullying because it ain't intimidating, it's aggravating.
Mm-hmm.
When you see people threatening the FBI because they're doing their job, they're gonna threaten the election people because they're doing their job. They need to sit down. They need to take a break. Because we're tired of this mess that they got going on, and we need to let everybody know that the government don't cause inflation either. It's business. And it's multinational businesses that's causing the problem that we got now. Bezos need to pay those people that he working every day. He got $800 billion, and the only thing he can do is shoot up spots in the bay. We need to go on. We need to have a fast in this neighborhood. We fast for 30 days. They come talk to us. If we go to the poll like we served in the military, we get rid of them folks. We can get them out of government, especially in Georgia General Assembly. We veterans need to do this now. Those veterans that understand that we can all get along, we're all in this together. We need to stop letting these people destroy our democracy. Come on, Tony. We need to stop letting these people destroy our democracy, because what is happening, face it, now, you know this info fact, more than anything else. We were fighting Russia in Vietnam, weren't we? Every military conflict that we've had since then, them kids still been fighting Russia influence. Why are we doing business? Yeah, and why are we still doing business with them? We should have never started feeding them folks that we fighting. See, we're electing the wrong people to run our governments. We need to start vetting the people that we're voting for. And that's what we're going to try to do starting the 17th of August. On Wednesday the 17th, next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we're going to have a press conference. And we're going to be calling up on all of our peers, veterans across this state and across the country, let's go to the poll in November in every state and vote these clowns out of our governments.
Yep.
We need to just get them out of the way and get people in the government that want to serve a democracy. And I'm guaranteeing veterans that if we do that, we're going to see the VA services change. See, we got a cheat stick in the VA. You know, I'm going to just say it. We got a cheat stick in there, Tony. You laughing, but we got a cheat stick in there.
Yep.
It's called combined rating. Now, I went to, up until this year, I only had 2 service-connected disabilities. One of them 0%. They was the scars I got from being wounded in Vietnam and post-traumatic stress disorder. They had me rated for 70%, right? They made me unemployed because I was an employee at VA that wanted to make the VA work for veterans. So they didn't want that. they didn't. And I took them to court and sued them because of what they did. Because I was not going to go to that's a long story.
Yeah.
But I was an administrative supervisor for mental health. Now, how did they let that happen? All because I used my veteran benefits to go to college and got a degree. So they messed around, they just looked at the degree and they forgot I was a disabled veteran until I got in the job. And they realized, oh, you trying to change the clinic. You trying to change it. Yeah, I'm trying to make it
better.
I'm trying to make it better for people that came here that didn't get the services that we got. We didn't have PTSD when we got back home from Vietnam. We had to work and get it. We had to go at it. And at the time we had some politicians that listened to veterans. So we got to do this again. We got to take our governments back, get these guns out of the street, get a livable wage for these people, young people that's working every day. You know, all these billionaires that own the economy, it wouldn't hurt them to pay people $25 an hour for working, and that's what it's gonna take. Not $15 an hour. $15 an hour ain't but $30,000, $33,000. That count that up, man. I'll still be taking some of my paycheck giving it to my grandkids. I don't want to give them no money. You know, I don't want to do that. I want them to be paid for working. And we need to understand that this economy is driven by business, but the business can't drive the economy if we don't cooperate with them. Yeah. Dr. King told us that. And Malcolm told us something we need to look at, too. If we're going to keep this democracy, it's going to either be through the ballot or the bullet. And we got people right now saying that they want to walk. But that's bullet talk. Nobody talks like that unless they think they're scaring somebody. They're agitating us. Yep. They're not frightening us. They're agitating us. They're getting us, well, yeah, you want to fight? Come on with it. We don't want that. We don't want our children to see that. It's not necessary that we do that. Exactly. It's necessary, though, that veterans go to the poll and get these people out of our governments. See, we done went to sleep in the state of Georgia. And we got a law on the book right now. If the elections is close, all the Republicans got to do is declare where if we had some irregularities, they're gonna call them. Then they can appoint who they want to represent us. I don't think I want them folks appointing nobody to represent me because they done already insulted me by having Herschel Walker come back to Georgia and talking about representing there in the Senate. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand that. How could anybody want to do that? And they're running it like they're serious about it too. Yeah. Yep. They are so serious about it. He is seriously thinking he's gonna represent me in the Senate of these United States. Come on, veterans. Yep. Come on. I mean, insult. This adding insult to injury. Yeah. Hey, Tony, how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
You know, I was telling Poe, man, we was out, in community. We always out in community. I was out there this morning with Frontline Ministry talking about they setting up another transitional house for suicide veterans. And you know, one of the things that that we're gonna do Monday, I'm appearing at the VA with a mother whose son committed suicide. Now, the VA has found a way not to take responsibilities for these suicides.
How?
Because they're not service connectable. You know, if your child is dead, how you gonna service connect them if you don't know? We're gonna do it for them. We're gonna show them how to do it, because you can be service connected posthumously. Let me tell you a story. When they first brought PTSD up, right? I'm a young guy then. Back in 1980, I'm a relatively young guy at that point. They had a guy that committed suicide. There was a World War II veteran. He had committed suicide, right? But he was difficult. But that didn't matter to me. I was involved with his case with some other veterans that got his widow. We got this guy service connected posthumously because he had been experiencing mental problems, and we got a psychiatrist to look at his records and diagnosed him with PTSD posthumously as the cause of death for suicide. And his widow was able to do benefits. We got to make the VA and the Department of Defense responsible for these suicides, so they would put the resources there to help these families stop some of the suicides. If we empower the families with resources and knowledge, these children don't just come out and commit suicide the day they get out of the military. Their families see it. I can remember when I first got home. The second day I was home, my mama said, "Elson, you need to go to the VA. Something wrong with you." I didn't take that kindly, Mama. I didn't take it kindly, but she was recognizing something that I couldn't see.
Yep.
Had my mama been given the resources that she needed at that time to save me, I wouldn't have did all the things that I did with my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't commit suicide like these kids are doing now, but I did commit social suicide, spending 20 years, 18 days in the belly of the beast because of PTSD behavior. See, a lot of people don't know PTSD is a bad behavior disorder. Period. It's gonna make you behave badly. We can help these families. We can help the people that's going through this. They don't have to commit suicide. You know, some of them gonna do it anyway. You know, one of my first cases as a minister. I tell this story. I was ordained as a minister in prison, and the guards thought it was a joke. So they had this guy that was trying to commit suicide, right? So they came in my cell and got me. I said, "We want you to counsel with this guy that just was distracted. We just cut him down. We're seeking you keep him down." I get to the cell. I know the guy. I'm walking down in the He said, "Okay." He said, "Yeah, man, I talk to you, but don't bring that Jesus stuff in my cell."
Okay.
That kind of tied my hands right there because I didn't know what to say then. But now I'm caught between the rock and the hard place because they done took me out my cell to go in this cell to talk, and he telling me don't come in here with Jesus, so I don't know what else to go in there with except camaraderie. I go in there with camaraderie and talking with him. And he told me that this young man had been going in and out of prison ever since he was 9 years old. His parents had died during the process. The only somebody he had left in the world was his sister, and he was just tired of treating her like that. He was just fed up with treating her like that. He didn't want to get out of prison no more. He said, "I don't want to get out no more because they ain't gonna do me to come back." He said, "They ain't gonna do me to hurt my sister more." He committed suicide. So suicide is something that you can address, but you got to have the tools to do it with. I didn't have the tools to show this young man that he could take a different life because I'm doing life without parole at the time. So I didn't have the tools to say, you finna go out back into the community. This is somebody that you can talk to that can help you stay out of prison. You know, I didn't have that resource. You know, I didn't know that would have made a difference at that time because I was young and learning. Now I know that suicide is something that just don't happen automatically. You know, we got to empower the family. We got to, you know, give the family the tools that they need to help their loved ones who have come out of the military with a problem. They coming out with a problem. So, Tony,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I finally got off the parking lot on Interstate 20, coming from Lithonia. It just stopped. But anyway, about your comment about veterans, and suicide, we got to realize before PTSD, before it was even discussed, people looked down on anybody that had a mental problem, and families had to deal with that. And some families were not willing to acknowledge the fact that they had family members that had mental problems. I can remember growing up in Palmetto, having a family there that hid a family member in the house because they were ashamed of what the public or what the community would think of him, whereas he needed mental help. You know, he had traumatic stress going on in his life, but nobody could diagnose it. Back then, it's, oh, he's crazy, or he got a problem, and we're just going to keep it. And unfortunately, that went on for years until the VA recognized that there was such a thing as stress that people were dealing with, and it was affecting their mental ability. But of course, that was a challenge, of course, in the black community, because we never accepted the fact that we had people in our family and in our community that had mental problems.
And you know, I'm so glad you pointed that out, Tony, because not only did they think it was weird, some of them thought that it was a demon spirit.
Yes, yes.
So they didn't want to bring this out in the community. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But you know, today I met a preacher at Frontline Ministry that has, you know, recently got out of the military and tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were talking. You know, we're talking about the same thing that you're talking now. And we're going to work together because we're going to start going to these churches to preach this message. So the church got to get involved.
Yes.
Yeah. They have to get involved with this. We have to let the families know that it's not a demonic spirit. It's trauma. It's stress.
Yeah.
You know, and it don't just come at PTSD. They got another diagnosis, what they call adjustment disorder. You know? Some of the guys they haven't seen combat, Tracy, you know, but the stress, the adjustment disorder, going through what to go through, trying to do a military career or military service. Listen, I've seen people break down in basic training,
Right?
You know, because of the regimentation.
Yes.
You know, so this is what we're doing with the Sons of the Valley. This is why I'm so proud of our crew, because we're not just building a monument in the park. We building a movement in the community through the libraries and community centers where we're gonna educate our community, and we're gonna be able to garnish resources to make sure that families are getting the help that they need. Not just about coming back into the community, but you know, I know I've gotten veterans. Been doing benefits since 1975, so I did a lot of benefits. Get a lot of chance to see some of these guys that I got at the 100% level, right? It hurts me when I go see them, or when I see them, first thing I see is a bottle of half a gallon of liquor sitting down next to where they at, because this is the way they dealing with life. This is the way they're dealing with life, Tony. And, you know, they're not committing suicide the way some of the others, but it's a social suicide.
That's it.
You know, because if we could get that skill package that we learned in the military brought back to every family and use, it would change the economic landscape of our community. It would change the social landscape of our community. But we got to get these stigmas.
Yeah.
We got to some kind of way deal with these stigmas, and the only thing I can think about is I tell people that I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, and I'm a paralegal. So, I've been blessed to be able to deal with the claim process in a way that I know what it's supposed to be doing, and I know what it ain't doing, and I know what it is doing. You know, it has become an entity of separation in the veteran community because you gotta look at you. I got 100% for my PTSD, and you get 10%.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is veterans talk.
Yeah.
Veterans talking to veterans.
Yeah.
We just veterans talking to veterans, y'all, and to the community, because we got to make sure that our community understand that when you go into the U.S. military from a community, you're making, good God Almighty, we've been talking. You know, we never get enough time. But we got to do this every Saturday. You know, and Tony, I'm so grateful to you, brother, for doing this with us, because, you know, and Tracy for coming today. We got to get you back, man. Yeah. Because see, reading your records, you know, I told you I had this pride angle kind of thing with your records, because I was so proud of your military service. And then when I looked at the way the VA did you, I got angry. You know, because I know better. This ain't right. You know, why this? You know, why can't you look at this man's record and do this? Because you know that. I want you, when you come back, I want you to tell people what artillery is. I would tell them I was infantry, but I want you to tell them what artillery does. Not only, man, I'd look for it, but I didn't want y'all around because it shake the ground. It shake the ground, and everybody in it got bad hearing and tendonitis. Right? Different degrees of it, but both of those issues can impair your capacity to work and take care of your family. And you know, we're gonna talk about the disabilities and how they work, and then we're gonna talk about how our vote gonna make the VA do better, because we're gonna listen. Walmart, we want to talk with you on the 17th. We want you, and we're gonna make sure y'all be at this. If you ain't gonna be there, you're gonna hear about it, right? Because we know that we can get resources. We see that money that they wasting for homeless veterans. You know, millions of dollars they're getting in the name of homeless veterans, and veterans are still homeless. Lord help us. We can't let it. We can't be quiet, Tony.
No.
We got to keep on doing this. And Kenny, thank you, brother, for always being loyal, coming here too. And we, you know, that PASS Act, the PAC Act, it was a good step in the right direction, but it didn't go forward enough. They left out too many locations, right? And too many things that should have went to the presumptive list. They did have attention though, you know. Which and I know a lot of us gonna say, well, I don't want to tell them, but file your claim. Yeah, you got hypertension, file your claim. You know, and we got what we're trying to make sure you get done now is that you file a claim that's gonna get you some income. Veterans Talk. We'll see you next week. You know, we thank everybody for coming here, but we got a couple of minutes left. Tony can close us out, bro.
Okay. Just a bit more on the idea of filing claims and families. That's why we want those community center locations in our community. It is not just for the veterans, it's for the veterans and their families to come in so that we can inform them. You know, yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he's got, but this is what he is do right because of what happened, and so that's why it is so important. Yes, the memorial. We're all proud of that memorial and everything, but we want to help the veterans. We want to, yes, and by helping the veterans, we're going to help the community.
Help the community.
You know,
and you know, and the day I was with a lady that son committed suicide. I was there with a lady that her husband died after getting out of the military. And she don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, she don't know why. Well, they burn pits cause a lot of problems. Radiation cause a lot of problems. We're going to talk about these things. And we want you next week to make sure you go get somebody to tell them that Veteran Talk is on.
Right.
You know, because they need to know. Yeah. They really need to know. And Tracy, I hope you can make this press conference Wednesday. You know, so because
what time on Wednesday?
10:30 to 12.
What about?
At Club E.
Okay.
Yeah. We're on 10:30 to 12 Wednesday. We're calling out veterans and we're calling out the government.
Yes.
But we're gonna go to the poll and vote our democracy this year.
Yeah.
See, we got to get these people out of our government. Period. You know, we ain't got no business dealing with these clowns in our governments, and I can say it's our government because we done served to make sure it's our government. So next week, fellas, 5 o'clock. See you next week. Thank you. Have a good day. Be blessed.